I am Mia Lee. I'm an adult film performer, YouTuber, cam model, sex worker, things like that. And it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. I wanted to shoot something to update my viewers on what's been going on, why the big break, why things. And I realized in thinking about this video, I hadn't really shared a lot of personal things that were definitely sprinkled in tidbits about my personal life, like how I love rock climbing and how I love food and how I love my dogs. And my friends have been on my channel. I always knew that when it came to my channel, I wanted to offer a space to share stories from my experience as a sex worker in adult film and on cam, and what I learned about sex and sexuality. But I didn't really keep you posted in certain things, and because I just didn't think that they fit. I think I was trying to achieve the goal of content that benefited people in a certain way that I didn't really share with you what was going on with me. The main reason why I stopped shooting content for as long as I did, since about January till I guess now, is that I recognized that I was having a very depressive episode in my life. It wasn't brought about anything personal going on, even though we all have our own baggage and traumas to deal with. This depression was brought on by hormones. So I've shared previously that I'm sterilized. I had undergone a tubal ligation surgery. There are actually like clips that like clamp down. I'm sterile. But that does not prevent me from having my hormones fluctuate as they do in my typical menstrual cycle. And since about last spring, about last year this time, my hormones, especially connected with my cycle, were starting to get out of hand. I was experiencing a lot more pain associated with my period, particularly in my lower abdomen. That made working very difficult, very uncomfortable. It made intimacy with my partner sometimes very, very, what's the right word? I wouldn't say uncomfortable. It was really great, but it definitely impeded a lot of our efforts to have just a pleasurable experience. You know, we now had to like manage pain and positions and parts of my body that I just could not control. I thought for a while that the pain was caused by cysts because my family on my mom's side has a history of ovarian cysts and issues there, and also just like a really heavy period. My period would be so heavy and I would be losing so much blood and would have so little iron in my blood that I would feel like I had a concussion for upwards of 2 weeks, for the week during my period and then after, trying to recuperate. Just these compounding factors made me turn to my gynecologist and ask to be put back on birth control. I stopped taking the birth control pill initially and got sterilized because I hated what the addition of those hormones did to my mental state. It made me feel a bit numb. It made my emotions feel less accessible. And it was also during a period in my life previously when I was taking birth control that I was going through a lot of change, so it wasn't great. So I was very happy to get sterilized. But now I was at a point in my life again where I was like, maybe the pill is right for me to at least manage my hormones and see if I can manage this pain, if I can manage the bleeding, and maybe that exchange of how it might affect me in a negative way would be balanced out by how I would benefit from it. But it wasn't the case. My symptoms around my hormones in regard to my pain and my tenderness and my bleeding was a lot better and definitely improved in that aspect. But I started to slowly lose interest in things that would typically excite me. It became very hard to feed myself normally, or I'd go into these unhealthy cycles of of just not caring what I shoved in my body because it was just fuel to get through the day, which wasn't great, but I didn't really have an interest. I didn't get excited about things. Like hanging out with my friends felt different. Getting up to start my day, and I'm a morning person. Anyone who knows me, I'm like very excited to start my day. It was very difficult. I was pretty bedridden for like mental health reasons, and I hadn't taken as many consecutive mental health days, and I'm very privileged to be able to do that, as I had ever in my life. And then I realized that I was depressed. I wasn't necessarily sad. I just didn't care. It was the flavor of I don't give a fuck that desaturates the color in the world around you, and you kind of just don't care. And it made work difficult. It made intimacy difficult. It made camming difficult. I was also very sensitive. So although I was kind of apathetic, I was also more prone to being hurt emotionally from things that didn't used to hurt me. Like shitty people on cam would get to me a lot more. It would get to anyone because those people are garbage, but like I was more sensitive to it, and I needed to not be depressed. So I decided to take time away from things that added stress to my life that didn't honor me. And one of those things was YouTube. In January, I really wanted to focus on self-care and how to do all those things, but I felt so inauthentic by trying to promote self-care, which I care about so much, from this space of not being excited, of not taking care of myself, of dealing with a world of kind of like not dealing with certain things. So I decided to step away from that for a time to recharge, reassess, and figure out an action plan to get better. Like in that depressive period, I suffered from a lot of body dysmorphia. I relapsed into a lot of modes of behavior that tied in with eating disorders that I dealt with growing up and in college. A lot of my past traumas that I need to work on and had been working on kind of just came rushing out of the back of my head, where I was like trying to keep a lid on it, but you really can't. You got to deal with those things. To fix the hormone issue that was causing my depression, because I knew it was the pill. I had experienced something akin to that previously when I was on the pill, and I was experiencing it again in a different part of my life, and it was still creating the same problems in a different way. I stopped taking the pill. I was on NuvaRing, or I am on NuvaRing now, which is really nice because it doesn't have estrogen. I think estrogen and the different levels of that is what really affects me. So NuvaRing is just progesterone from what I recall, and it's just topical. It just is this ring that sits in your vagina. You take it out during sex. You clean yourself out normally. You do all the normal things. You just take it out and put it back in, to work around sex. My doctor was very nice and said, like, hey, if you're having sex, it can be out of your body for upwards of 4 hours. I'm like, thank you. Pornography has made me a little lazy. But 4 hours is a nice window. I wouldn't say lazy. I'm satisfied by simple things. But I feel a lot better. There was this rocky, horrible period where I was coming off of the pill and then added NuvaRing, where those things kind of overlapped, and that was really uncomfortable and kind of rough. But I got through that, and now I'm figuring out a game plan to deal with the baggage that being depressed brought up. Like, I have to deal with my sexual trauma from my very abusive situation in my previous relationship. I have to be better about taking care of myself and setting boundaries. And it's time to get back on the horse and work on my career. I'm going to be doing more workshops and public speaking engagements. I spoke to a gender studies class about ethical sluthood recently and spoke to a reproductive justice class for med students about consent in adult film and how that can also be modeled in a medical setting with patients and medical professionals. And I'm going to be doing a workshop on bodily autonomy and touching on like an intro to kink as a way to explore your wants and needs and your desires coming up. And I'm excited. I'm excited to not just make porn. I love making porn. I love having sex with my friends and I love shooting content, but I also want to offer more in regard to public speaking on the topics I really care about. I think it's very honest for me to say that I have a lot of conflict with creating pornographic content that perpetuates ideas I disagree with greatly, especially when it comes to being an Asian woman, being a person of color, being a queer individual, and just the ethics that I hold in regard to consent. There are some scenes that, although I performed them and got through them and did the thing and I was paid, and it's great, and I'm sure I'll still come up with those sort of ethical conflicts when I create content because I need to have a job. I'm also trying to work actively in fighting against that, and hopefully I can come to a place, I mean, camming's really great, where I can say no to gigs that ask me to reinforce the stereotype that damages the Asian American or just Asian identity of women. I hate it when people ask me to have an accent. I hate it when people ask me to not speak very much because I sound American because I'm fucking American. So that's my goal, to come to a place in my career where I can just say no to those things and be okay. I think I'm pretty close. I think if I'm pretty close, if not, I'm already there. You know, I can just work around it. So I want to do more work in regard to promoting the social justice things I care about. So look for that. I'm going to be posting some content on here, piggybacking off of O School, which is this pleasure-based sex education platform that's going to be very new, and I'm going to even be picking a few viewers on here to be participants of workshops that I hold on O School. I'll pick them and give them specific access codes because it's by invite only, because I don't want shitty people coming to my workshops. I mean, that's not the space for that. And I want to benefit people who want to pursue that. But yeah, that's where I am in my life right now. I'm going to do my best to be better to myself and to my projects and to the people in my life who have been such amazing support. And also, like, I need to be okay with posting videos that are longer than 3 minutes. Like, I understand that YouTube analytics and all these things come into place with virality, but you know what? I don't care about that in a lot of ways, even though I do in some. I just want people to benefit what they benefit from. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching this video. I will be posting more once I get organized. I'm not going to say when, but know that I haven't forgotten about the people who come to my channel and watch my content. I'm going to be posting, and I hope you guys like that. I hope you guys like this. And I'll try to stop using guys. I'll try to say folks and everyone, because that's very gendered and perhaps uncomfortable for some individuals. So thanks everyone. Take care. Have a good day. Be good to yourself. Be good to your friends and your family and your community. And yeah, take care of yourself. Bye.